Good day and welcome to the program. A very wonderful day to you wherever you're watching us from. I hope you're having yourselves so far. Part of the day is going well. This is Smart 24 TV. My name is Anthony Sebali and I am your host for Financial Markets. And of course, it is the 5th of August. We're looking at 1 week away from the beginning of the month of August. I hope you've realized some of your resolutions for this week and are working towards achieving more, at least over the weekend and probably in the next week. And we are here, of course, to drive your business. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter. That is Smart24 TV on our handle. You can also follow me on Anthony Sebale. And you can catch the show here on GoTV at channel 394. Or you can watch us live on YouTube, on our YouTube live stream at Smart24 TV Live. And of course, these are updates coming in from the Uganda Securities Exchange. We look at the stock market in particular, looking at the top gainers, looking at the losers of the day, looking at the movers of the market. And as of course we wind up the week, this tells a lot about how the markets have performed over the entire week and also what we should expect. Markets open at exactly 9 a.m. and they close at 1 p.m. East African Standard Time. And if you want to trade on any of the counters we mentioned here, you can always reach out to the Uganda Securities Exchange. You can reach out to a stockbroker and so on. And of course, today we are going to look at the market performance, but before we do that, I just wanted to give you a humble reminder about Altex East Africa. These are our partners here, and they are specialized in giving people trade in securities across East Africa. And now with their new initiative known as Zabu, you can now trade on the several securities in Kenya, in Uganda, in Tanzania, by using your mobile phone. If you're an MTN subscriber, this is your time. You can now dial *292# and of course follow the prompts, choosing option 1 either to buy, you choose another option maybe to sell if you already own these instruments. And when you do that, they will be able to give you access to the different kinds of securities, and we are talking about the bonds at the moment. If you want to buy a bond, if you want to sell one, you can choose the categories there: 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 10-year bonds, and so on. And after, of course, getting to choose that option, you will be able to make your payment, and that payment will definitely be from your mobile money account on MTN. And when you make that payment, the account will be debited, of course, your MTN mobile money, and they'll send you a notification, and you will have purchased yourself a bond or a treasury bill. The market at Altex opens at 8:15 a.m. and closes at 3:15 a.m., making the markets more accessible, making them much more easier to interact with by bringing them to the common person. That is what Altex East Africa is giving us today. And if it's your first time here on the show, we basically look into the financial markets, and these are divided into 4 segments. Number 1 is the stock market, which we particularly look at in detail here. And this stock market, of course regulated by the Capital Markets Authority, is operating under the Uganda Securities Exchange, which is the body mandated to take over the control of the markets here in Uganda. We also look into the debt market, that is the bonds and the bills there, and also give you a little more insight and have people come talk about several ways you can invest in these and why you should invest. We have not yet, of course, gone into the commodities market, as it is not yet there in Uganda, but several other countries that have been able to develop their financial markets have a commodities segment. And of course, USE under its several initiatives it's coming up with, definitely we are hoping to see it on the Ugandan market as well. When we talk about the commodities market, we're talking about that particular market where you have commodities but still listed on exchange. So you have, for example, crude oil. We already having our oil being mined up and of course piped into Dar es Salaam. But we can see that when you have these commodities, people can sell them at several prices. What the exchange does is, since it's a common market, you have a central point where you can be able to access all these commodities at a particular price. And when you get into these tradings, of course, you don't have just things like crude oil. You have things like crops like maize. You have things like precious metal, including gold, silver, copper, and the like. And these are prices also that many people look at. These are things that people look at as determining how good the economy is. Some people buy gold for currency reservation. Some people buy gold for several things. So still we can find these commodities on the financial markets platform. The other market is a derivative market as well. We don't have much yet on the derivative market here in Uganda still, but yet another sector to be developed on and to be worked on as well as we move along, of course, as we grow our markets. Let's get into the markets right spot on. Yesterday we had several activities on the market. Remember, we analyzed markets as per the closure of the day yesterday, because that is as much as we can do at the moment to see that we monitor and track the performance of the stocks as they performed the day before. And in aggregate, yesterday, among the 18 listed equities, only 5 equities were able to participate in trading. Because the market is open, not everyone buys everywhere every single day. So only 5 listed equities participated in trading. However, we ended the day with 4 gainers, 4 top gainers, who are led by KCB Group. And we also ended with about 7 losers here on the market yesterday. And the Uganda Securities Exchange All Share Index went down by 0.7 points. This index is what tracks the aggregate performance of all the listed equities on the Uganda Securities Exchange. And when you talk about this counter that gives the performance of the average performance of all the stocks as they performed. Now, on a daily basis yesterday, the all share index went down by 0.7 points, and that was a 0.05% daily loss, and it closed at 1,299 points, 1,299.79 points, representing a 1-week gain of 3.2% and a 4-week gain of 7.49%, but an overall year-to-date loss of 8.51%. Regarding the performance of the local company index, which tracks or monitors the performance of the local companies here, the domestic companies including Stanbic, Uganda Clays, Umeme, and the like, and there are 10 of them in number. These are the 10 locally listed companies. When you look at their index, it decreased as well by 0.57%, down to 273.33 points. Now that graph there is of the all share index. As you can see, we've had some improvement slightly from the month of July, between the month of June and August, and we are seeing that the steady decline has now turned into a steady rise. So not that worrying. As you can see, as I said, the points went down by 0.7, and that was a 0.05% decline in the points at the all share index, representing in a 1 week. In 1 week, we are seeing there was a loss gaining side in the 1 week of a 3.2%, and in the 4 weeks, we are seeing a gain still of 7.49%. But overall, when you look at the graph since the year began, They began with the points as high as about 1,400, and right now counting 1,299.79 points. We are seeing an overall year-to-date loss of about 8.51%. That is basing on the now when we
Smart 24.
seeing a loss of 0.24% and a 4-week gain of 1.33% as well. And of course, these give you the picture of what's happening at the exchange, that the local companies are not doing that well. And year-to-date loss for the local companies is 15.81%. Remember, the year-to-date loss for the all-share index was about 8.51, and the year-to-date loss of the local companies is about 15.81%. So a little less performance than expected from the local companies there on the Uganda Securities Exchange. However, when you look at the gainers here, the top gainers, we had several counters here coming the gaining position, 4 of them in number. And the head of these came out as KCB. KCB came out with a price of 1,326.82 Ugandan shillings, and that was a 1.62% gain in price for KCB Bank. And then Stanbic Bank Uganda gained by 1.6%, the second day of gaining in a row, and he gained to a price of 21 shillings per share. That is closing yesterday's markets. Centum Investment Company ended the day with a 1.39% gain, closing off with a price of 304.76 Ugandan shillings. Whereas Nation Media Group at 644.69 Ugandan shillings gained by 0.13% at the closure of the day yesterday. On the losing side, we had several other counters who came in the last place here. MTN, unfortunately, still went back down to 185 Ugandan shillings, where it began, of course, the week. And that was from yesterday's 187. So we are seeing a loss of about 1.31% in price, therefore MTN. And then Simpler Quality Chemicals yesterday had gained some points there, about 70.89. Well, it lost those points yesterday after the trading day, closing the day with the price of 70 Ugandan shillings. While Equity Bank Limited at 1,546.6 Ugandan shillings. That is the most valuable stock, by the way, on the Uganda Securities Exchange of Equity Bank Limited, with over 5 trillion market capitalization. Equity Bank ended with a 0.54% loss, however, on the market yesterday. And then when you look at the East African Bureau, Kenya Airways also came in as a loser after losing about 0.13% of their price valuation, closing the day with 124.7 Ugandan shillings. And then East African Breweries Limited at 5,022.38 Ugandan shillings, closed with a loss of 0.12% of their price valuation there. And if you can also look at Jubilee Holdings Limited, it came out after losing about 0.02% of their price valuation, down to 8,107.44. and that is Jubilee Holdings Limited. Those are the counters that lost. MTN leading the losers yesterday after losing from 187. If you remember, MTN has been one of the most active stocks recently. Very much activity there. You see him losing today, gaining the next day, losing today, gaining the next day. And this is the kind of interesting stock to deal with. You want a stock market that gives opportunity to buy and gives opportunity as well to sell on a share, on a capital gain. Because you always want to buy when the stocks are going down, but also you want to sell when they're going up, because that is the time you're going to get a little bit of profit off that particular stock. Still in terms of volume, MTN came out with a very huge volume that they traded yesterday, over 298,300 shares, which was the biggest volume traded on any counter yesterday. And that was traded on MTN. And she was followed by Stanbic Bank Uganda at 17,700 shares that were traded yesterday on the market. We are seeing also some activity in Stanbic Bank recently, very much activity that's trying to actually push Stanbic into the growth of their price there from the 20 to the 21 at the moment. He was followed by Umeme. Umeme also traded some good volumes, about 14,100. And Cipla Quality Chemicals traded about 5,400. However, the trades in Umeme did not lead to any price changes. And recently, Umeme has had a very poor performance. That is as regards their stock value going down. And we're going to look at a story later on today about why probably this is happening and what could be the response of Umeme and, of course, the shareholders. What are shareholders doing and why are prices moving in this direction? We are going to later on look into that. But Umeme yesterday traded a volume of about 14,100 shares as well on the stock market. Remember, this data is courtesy of the Uganda Securities Exchange, and this exchange was mandated by the government of Uganda to carry out the trade in securities in Uganda on behalf of course, the several companies on behalf of government. And they not only have shares, the share market or the equity market, we're also looking into the debt market where they are able to list bonds and bills and so on and so forth. And if you want to register for an account that is a Securities Central Depository account, you can still visit www.usce.org and then visit the Easy Portal, the www.use.easyportal.com as well, to be able to access that SCD account registry. And the SCD registry is headed by Mr. Bob Musinguzi, who has been here on the show before and has clarified on several issues regarding registry, as any official documents, as any other official registration for an account, for a bank account, for a mobile money account. One has to give in their details of their personal identification number, personal identification cards, personal identification, maybe passports and so on. And these are still the details that are required for you to be able to open an SCD account. You cannot trade without one. So that's the first step. And of course, they work in conjunction with the stockbrokers. There are 4 stockbrokers at the moment, and we have had all of them here on the show. They have given us a little bit of what they do. We have a Standard Bank Group Securities, that is SBG. We have the UAP Old Mutual. We have Dyer and Blair, and then the Crested Capital brokers as well. And these brokers will help you access stocks. They'll help you access your favorite companies. They'll help you be able to open SCD accounts, and they'll be running your SCD account on your behalf. And these definitely are coming in hand, of course, with the law, which says that you cannot trade on the securities market without going through a stockbroker at the moment. Thank you very much for deciding to stay tuned here at Smart 24 TV. We have been looking at the stock market. We are going to go into a break, but when we return, we will be looking into each of these companies. MTN, for example, yesterday's dropped from 187 to 185, and then we are looking at Cipla also losing from 70.89 to 70, and EBL, that is Equity Bank Limited, also losing some value there. We're going to look into the details of these companies, and if you also want to know how to get started out on trading, you can also stay tuned for more of that action. You can leave us a comment on Twitter or Facebook. That is at Smart24 TV. You can leave a question or a comment what you think about the company's performance. Do you think the companies are performing up to the standards, up to the speed at which we expect these companies to be growing and participating in the markets, or you think there is something lacking? We're going to take a short break. We return with more. My name is Anthony. Stay with us.